Greetings, humans. I'm Andrei, and this is Couscous. Welcome back to the Windmill Full of Corpses. We are joined today by a very special guest, composer, guitarist, and producer at this point, Martin Gonzalez. It's a pleasure to have you again on the channel.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Right. So last time we talked, it was very much in a context of Atomic Guava interview, and at that point, you registered in my head as the guitarist of Atomic Guava. At this point, you've done so many different things and have shown up in so many different projects that I don't even really know exactly where you are in terms of what you're doing with your music career. Are you more of a band member? Are you more of a producer?
Gotcha.
Are you more of like a gaming soundtrack composer? What would you say is your main thing, if there even is one?
No, this makes sense. But yeah, I guess the way I like to present myself now, and the thing that I pursue with all the time that I've got is being a composer. So composer for shows, mostly anime, video games, and anything that needs music, basically. So yes, I started doing my bands and whatnot, and guitar has always been my main instrument. I love it with my whole heart. But I think I found my passion into creating music, not only with my guitar, but outside of it. I love so many different types of music, and I've always loved entertainment. I watch a lot of movies, I watch a lot of shows, I play video games, and since I graduated college, basically I started just writing music for things. My first one being the TV show Ruby, which is an American made anime. And I think that sparkled into I was basically doing prog metal for a TV show. So I felt oh, this is the stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
But it also involved writing music for, orchestral pieces, maybe some EDM things. And I think I just started enjoying making every possible type of music that I could. So yeah, I'm a composer, producer, guitarist. All of these things can coexist, but the thing that I'm focused on right now and where I want to take my career is 100% being a composer. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I also right now have a company with a couple of friends of mine, and we are this ex-dev team of composers, sound designers, and producers. And yeah, the goal here is to tackle as many cool things as we can tackle.
What's the name of the company?
The company is called Ash and Ether.
Ash and Ether.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna try to put info about this in the description and about the video.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this. How long is it since you started this?
Okay, so the company was not founded by me, but by a friend of mine called Jesse. And we've been through a lot. We changed names once, but I think the company started with this name this year. It's been really new. It hasn't had an official launch or announcement or anything like that, but we've been tackling a couple projects. To give you a little bit more context, for example, before we used to have a different name, and I myself did a song for a video game called Arknights, which I saw you guys reacted to.
Yes.
And it's funny because then I did that with Ellie, right? And it's Ellie and me, and people were oh, this is probably an Atomic Wawa collab. But because it only involved Ellie and me, then it ended up being an Ellie and me thing. But we did that through our company, and it was mixed by George Lever, who's also part of our company. And I'm pretty sure people watching us like metal and whatnot, and George worked with Sleep Token, with Monuments, with cool stuff. And so it's been pretty cool. So yeah, that's sort of how it started. It's been I think a year and a half or two, but it's kind of hard to put the time frame into perspective when I think about it. It's been weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and I imagine you
But
always have a lot of things happening at the same time, so exactly keeping track of the timeline isn't your main concern.
what I'll say is that 2026 looks like an exciting year for us. So it's gonna be nice.
Awesome. So I love that you mentioned the Arknights song because I wanted to ask you that. You commented on our reaction that you did that together with Ellie and with Jeffrey Day, aka Jeff
Yes.
Plays Guitar. How did you end up getting in contact with him? We've had some reactions to some of his stuff in the past. People really liked them. And we actually weren't planning to be doing like video game reactions anymore. But we do want to react to everything you do, all that we know about. So it came more as a reaction to musicians from our perspective, but still it is written for a video game and it is written with him. So how did you end up in that context and how did you end up collaborating with him?
I met Jeff through friends. I think I don't exactly recall how I met him, but I remember the first time I saw him was, I think it was 2023 in like GDC, which is the Game Development Conference in San Francisco. That was my very first time going there, and we just had friends in common, and we started like, I don't know, a beer or something like that, and then we just kept in contact. And he helped me co-produce the song, so he added like a bunch of synths and a bunch of like ear candy sound design to the track. And we also collaborated on a thing recently, just like a song that we did for fun. It's called Unsung, and it's inspired by Solo Leveling, the anime. So I think we just connected through friendship and being nerds about music, and he's super into synths, and that's something that like I am super into, but not as much as him. So I have a lot to learn. So we always just like nerd out back and forth about stuff. And funny enough, I lived in Boston for like 5 years, and he lives in Boston, but we never met while I was there. We met afterwards. But yeah, that's sort of how I met him. I think it's just like natural connections between friends and nothing that a beer or two can do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have two follow-up questions. The first one is, when you write for a video game or an anime or something like that, how is that different from just writing your own music? Because when you write your own music, you have full creative freedom to do whatever you want. But when you write for an anime or game, you have to have the music work for that anime or game. How does that change the process for you mentally and in terms of what you actually do?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I like both things. I think for me, sometimes it's just like making music for myself. It's just sort of like whatever comes out because it's what I'm thinking, what I'm going through. I don't necessarily like think, oh, I have a like my purpose is to make a song that sounds like this, or like that has these sounds involved or anything like that. It's just like, this is me and I'm trying stuff out, and I'll let it be because I'm just experimenting with my own self. It's like getting to know myself through music kind of thing. And that's pretty cool. I love doing that. I get so lost, like I lose track of time when I'm doing that basically. But you know, it's not like I can be inspired all of the time and be like, wow, this is great. This is like, I'm doing great stuff. It's mostly like shit most of the times. And then 1 out of like 10 ideas is like, oh, this is great, and I can like use it for something. Versus having some sort of like direction and inspiration to do something with like a certain guideline. It's still super fun, and I can still allow myself to be myself because if I'm doing the music, it's like hopefully unapologetically me. But yeah, I think that's the only difference in my version of it, is kind of like having very little direction versus having a clear goal. And hopefully if I work in like stuff that I like, which is most of the times, then I always enjoy it, dude. But yes, it's like going through the motions of this has to work for this particular thing, and somebody is gonna have comments about it, and I'm gonna have to like edit things around because, and it's kind of like detaching myself from the this belongs 100% to me, because it's not. This is like somebody. This is for not for somebody, for something bigger than my own self. So when it's for a video game, it's just like, first, is the music good? Then I'm cool. Does the music work for the game or for the show or anything? Even better. And then seeing people react to like the stuff that they're playing are not watching, and making sure that it actually did work is like so satisfying, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, it's not 100% about the music, it's 100% about the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like the music
Right.
has to come together with the game.
Right. And dude, it's so, I'm pretty sure we've all seen like a movie that could have been so great if the music didn't suck.
Yeah,
Or we probably saw like a movie where the music was so good and the movie itself was kind of like meh. And I think the goal here is to like make justice to whatever we're working with. And have fun with it, man. It's like, if you don't have fun, or if you are not like personally attached to what you're doing, I don't think it's like worth doing it. Otherwise, I would have chosen to do something else.
yeah. I like the differentiation you're describing, and I can definitely hear it in your music, because the stuff that's for the games and for the animes feels a lot more on track, and the song feels a lot more like one idea, versus when I went and listened to your, I'm not even sure whether to call it EP or album, to Suspiro, I was like, this is all over the place. Now it sounds electronic, now it sounds like Pliny and intervals, now it sounds Balkan, now it's got hurdy-gurdy, and it's like, what is going on there? So,
Dude, I mean, particularly that album, I feel like exactly that was like me getting to know myself a little bit. And believe me, I still love what I did there. But it's been, I think, like 2 years or a year, I don't even know. But it's one of those things where it's like, wow, like that was wild. And now, like, I think my brain has geared towards like perhaps doing like, as you said, like things that are a little bit more on track, and like, how prog metal is, like prog metal people are crazy. And I think right now I'm at a point where I value the songwriting more than the showing off. And
yeah,
I think that's the goal. I'm trying to like, I think that the best way I can put it is I'm trying to experiment with like my own roots, and making sure that the music is not like showy for the sake
yeah,
of being showy, and more like relatable, and more
yeah,
I guess easy on the ears, if you can say that.
yeah. I feel like show off is a good skill to have, but it's also a very big pitfall of thinking once you can do it that you have to do it all the time.
Right. This is like anything. It's like maturing your music taste, I suppose. And
Yeah.
yeah.
About Unsung, that's a really interesting song to me. We do have a video recorded for it. I just
Oh, let's fucking go.
It's really hard to find time to edit everything. That's why a lot of stuff is like, a lot of our reactions are dropping over a month after the song came out. But we have one for that, and we also have one for Saturn for the song you did with Ellie. And they're just
uh,
both like gonna go up at some point. But about Unsung, I wanna ask you about the solo leveling, because the way it showed up on YouTube wasn't actually with the title Unsung. It was what I think solo leveling level 3 intro would sound like. So would you actually like to work for solo leveling if they do a season 3?
dude, oh my God. Like I would, yeah. I mean, that would be insane. Like I do enjoy that show so much. And the whole idea about making the song was because I was kind of like super into it. I was like, oh my God, this is like such a cool concept. The animation was crazy. And I haven't done the like, oh, I watch a show and then I want to do like a song inspired by the show type thing. I've seen like a lot of people that do that like consistently, mostly on YouTube, for example. And I've never felt the need of doing that until I was like, okay, this is the show that I want to do this.
Yeah.
And it was a great excuse to have fun with Ellie, which I was watching the show with at the time, and also with Jeff. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would love to work on that show. Oh my God. But it's like the composer they've got is, if I'm not mistaken, the same dude that does music for like Attack on Titan, and is like a super super crazy good composer. So anyways, if anyone hears this, what's up?
Yeah, maybe he hears your song and offers you a collab. That would be really great.
Nice. Yeah.
um, okay. Give me a sec. I'm trying to remember where I am with the questions. Oh yeah, because you do songs with Ellie, both your own and for games and stuff, I wanted to ask you about lyrics. Do you have any participation at all in the lyrics? Because sometimes I know there's situations where whoever's playing the instrument are like, I don't even know what she's singing about. And sometimes they know what the topic is, and sometimes they're actually involved in the lyrics. And I imagine for you, you have to keep the song and the lyrics coherent with the topic. So how much do you get involved in that?
Okay, so what I'll say is lyrics are 100% Ellie. Mm-hmm. But concept-wise, even though like Ellie is really good at her own thing, obviously. But I'll speak for like the stuff that we do together, or the stuff that has been out that we do together is lots of the times I might have like an idea that I want to explore, and she just sort of takes that idea and makes it the whole story, basically. So for, let's say, an example like Ouroboros, right? That was from my album from like 2 years ago that we were talking about. That song, I wanted that to be a song for my own album, and I wrote the instrumental before Ellie came to do her thing. And I think the concept was kind of like, dude, I just hate myself, and I see like I am like self-destructive, which is like the whole snake that eats itself in like a 10 circle, and then she made the whole concept about that, and she came out, in fact I think she came out with the idea of Ouroboros after I told her like, hey, when I created this song being like pissed off at myself and just like I'm really like mad at myself, I feel like I'm always like self-sabotaging, so on, and then she did the concept and put it into like this world where the song is called now Ouroboros. So that happens a lot with like when we share ideas and how she does the stuff that we've been doing. For video games is different. She still does 100% of the lyrics, but there is somebody else from the outside telling us what the song should be about, right?
It's really cool how that comes across, because I've listened now to your songs with her and also to Atomic Guava to a point where I feel like I can just always tell it's her lyrics. Like when I first looked at the lyrics for the Arknights song, I was like, yeah, this is 100% Ellie wrote the lyrics. It's the same style, but it doesn't feel like it's in the same cinematic universe. It's almost like you recognize the style of a director when watching a different movie than the one that you first seen that.
That makes perfect sense, dude. Yeah.
Another game that I saw you did soundtracks for is this Tower Defense X game.
Yes, that was actually recently. So through mutual friends, I met my friend, the GJ. And his name is Guilherme. I am probably mispronouncing his name. He's from Brazil. Super, super cool dude. And he has been the composer for Roblox, Tower Defense X, TDX for a while now. I think it's been years. And I think same, like through friendship and kind of like we like what we do. We started talking and he reached out and he wanted help doing, we did one thing like earlier this year, and it's called, I forgot the name. I think it's like vehicular reinforcement something. It's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
Let me check it out exactly how it's called. But yes, before the Halloween event that we just worked on, we did something before. And I think people ended up liking that song so much, the one that we did at the beginning of the year, that he was like, oh, let's bring Marty again. And that's my assumption.
Okay, so you assume that's why he got you on to do this Halloween soundtrack thing as well.
Yeah. So to get it straight, the song that we did at the beginning of the year is called Vehicular Positive Reinforcement.
That is such a prog metal title. It's like the prog meter just broke. It went past the maximum.
And then for this Halloween event, it's like, I wouldn't say like a lot of music, but like, it's like a whole, at least like 10 songs or so of like background music. for the Halloween event of the game. And that's a lot of music to tackle in a month. So he was like, dude, I could use some help and kind of like need an extra composer for this one. And I helped him out, and I ended up with like songs of my own, and then with a like Halloween Mail collab that we did, the both of us. But yeah, it's kind of like that. Like all of these like projects just are fruits of friendship, I guess.
Okay, so I didn't know there were more songs. I just heard your songs that are like on your Bandcamp and on YouTube. I assume those are the ones that you composed.
Yes, yes, yes.
Are any of the songs like co-written, or did you just end up splitting duties? Okay, he takes this man, you takes this man, and you.
So the main boss battle, the one that is like metal, that one was a collab. That one was him and me, kind of like working on tandem. And then the other tracks, they were only me. And then the other tracks, which are on his Spotify, and they're under the same name. I think it just says like Volume 2, are the ones that he wrote. And I guess, yeah, even though we did them like individually on our own, we sort of like talked a bunch about like the sounds, the palette, so that they could like coexist in the same soundtrack. So it's not like super completely different types of music that don't mesh together, especially for an event that is supposed to be like cohesive.
Am I correct in assuming that the boss battle team is the one called Forgotten Knights?
Yes, 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 that's it.
Because you said the metal one, and of the ones that I heard from you, that's the only one that really has like the riffs and stuff.
Right.
Is that okay? The context around this question. I love a band called Symphony X.
One of my favorite bands ever, dude.
Yeah, and do you know the song "The Odyssey," the 24-minute piece from 2002?
Yes.
There is a melodic theme in the part about the sirens that comes when there aren't vocals that sounds very strangely similar to the main guitar theme in Forgotten Knights. And I actually went and compared them. I'm not sure it's the same theme, but it's very similar. It's something like the first half plays exactly in the same way. But the other thing I know about Symphony X is that a lot of the times they use parts from classical songs. I don't know if this is the case here, but I was curious if there's anything at the root of Forgotten Knights that would have made the theme happen, or if it's just a random occurrence.
Dude, I think that's a random occurrence, but what I'll say is that like, yeah, I mean, that album, The Odyssey, like, and the song in particular, dude, I have listened to that so many times. It's like I haven't listened to that like recently by any means. Like it might have been years to be honest, but like yeah, I grew up listening to that. I obsessed over like those albums. So I think it's like inherently a part of me in my brain and the way I learn how to play anything. So chances are, dude, it might be some like subconscious thing in my head that was like trying to do something similar. And I wouldn't be surprised it has happened before.
yeah. I'm gonna send you the timestamps with which are the themes I'm talking about. I'm also gonna put them in the video edit.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I want to go back and ask you more about your stuff.
Gotcha.
I mentioned already Saturn, the song you did with Ellie. That one is very strange for me, because everything I've heard from you guys so far, in my perception, has an element of silly and fun to it. Even like Ouroboros, which you mentioned, is actually about this dark, like self-sabotage sort of topic. It seems to me like a very fun song because of the groove and dynamic of it. But this one is like, okay, Saturn is not a fun song. Saturn is an atmospheric, it's dark, it's such a change of pace from just about anything I've heard from you. So where did that approach come from?
It's just I think it's just a song about grief, dude, and yeah, like it's I don't know, man. It's like, as you said, like we're a bunch of goofy
Hmm.
people that like to have fun and whatnot, but like sometimes that's just not the case. And I think this was one of those cases where we were like, yeah, it's not about making like the song fun or anything. It's like a pure like just sentimental song that comes from somewhere else within us, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't think I have like a deep explanation as to why that's like the dark song in between like all of these other fun things we do, but sometimes it's like necessary. I don't know. I felt like that was like a different thing that I want to do more of because it's like even writing music that is just more like atmospheric, ethereal, doesn't have drums, doesn't have any of that, and is kind of like a little bit more film scorey, more I love doing that, dude. And I think it's like part of some of my music evolution
Yeah.
as the things that I discovering that I like to do a lot. So yeah, like dude, I like to consider myself a real happy person.
Hmm.
Like I'm goofy. I have fun with mostly everything,
Hmm.
but sometimes your boy gets sad.
Yeah, but
And
I actually think that song is brilliant for a number of reasons, like in the context of what your music usually sounds like. First of all, if you're willing to throw that much of a curveball that is like, this is unlike anything I've heard from you guys, then it's pretty much the strongest message you can give that you don't fit in a box. So you're never gonna end up in that trap where you feel like you have to make your music a certain way because that's how people might expect it. So that's number one. And number two is, like you said, you're a very happy person. I actually think that's the kind of thing that it takes in order to really be a happy person, because no one's really happy all the time. And if you
right,
can never
exactly.
let the sad out, then the happy just becomes performative.
Exactly. And I think that's also part of the maybe not the first, but one of the very first questions that you asked me is kind of like, what is the difference between doing stuff for video games versus
Yeah.
like your own? And it's
Yeah.
kind of like sometimes when you don't have this directive and you just allow yourself to be yourself, like, yeah, you don't really have limitations to what comes out, unless your own. Like you are your own like judge, and maybe the couple people that you trust that you share the music with that could give you some feedback, right? But
Mhm.
um, exactly, it's like people might know me for like my guitar things, my bands and whatnot, but as I said, I can do a bunch of other stuff that I'm gonna put more of, like a lot of electronic, maybe atmospheric, maybe acoustic, maybe
Yeah.
just trying to be myself, dude, and that's it.
That's
In
really cool.
fact, that I even started singing recently, which I'm scared to put out, but I'll show you later. But even in Spanish and everything, dude, because I was like, dude, I'm Colombian, I'm gonna sing in Spanish. It's music that I resonate with also very deeply. So 2026 is gonna be a year of like Marty's new musical episode, I suppose.
This is really cool, and it's really cool for me to sort of see you branch out in all these directions, because when I found you with Atomic Guava, I was listening to only Atomic Guava, and it's like over a couple of years, it's just become from the nerdy guitar player in Atomic Guava to this dude can do anything, and it's happening so fast too. So I'm really curious where it's gonna go and what stuff you're gonna end up doing. It's almost like watching a TV show where the plot just keeps thickening.
Dude, super appreciate you. Like, I have no idea how to take those compliments, but all I can say is like, dude, thank you so much, man. That is like a really great compliment. And yeah, I think that's also part of the reason why I'm choosing to do what I want to do, which is, as I told you, being a composer. Is because of that. It kind of is like a career path that allows me to do different styles of music and different things, and try to be very good at what I do. And it's, man, at the end of the day, it's all about enjoying it, and enjoying making music. And I think I'm succeeding at that slowly but surely.